In this video, I'm going to be showing you 5 Elementor CSS tricks that you should know. Now they're going to be fairly simple, not anything complicated. So if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you end up enjoying the video, make sure to like it for the YouTube algorithm. It'll be greatly appreciated for all the effort and time that I put into this video. Now I really hope you guys enjoy. If you guys have any questions, just comment down below. So my first CSS trick is pretty simple. It's just adjusting the form input height. And all we need to do is just click on our Elementor form and then go into Advanced, go into Custom CSS, and then let's go ahead and target the selector. And then let's type in input. And then go ahead and add some curly brackets. And in between those curly brackets, let's go ahead and add a height. So add a height with the colon. Then after that colon, go ahead and add your height in pixels or in rem or whatever you would like to do. I'm going to do pixels, so I'm going to do 50 px. And as you can tell, that adjusted my input height. And that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions on this, just comment down below. Now the next one here is adjusting our image position. Now, what do I mean by that? Whenever you add an image and you go to your style and you go ahead and add a height to this, you'll notice that you'll have an option to add an object fit. And let me just set this back to default and remove this height here, right? So you notice that right now we don't really see the object fit option anymore. But if we start to adjust our height on this, we'll have the option here, okay? Now let me set this back to the original height. So it was 193. And I'm going to set this to cover. Very important that you set this to cover because we're going to be adjusting the position. So I don't know if you've noticed, but whenever you add a background image to a section, you can always adjust the positioning, right? You always have options to adjust the position, either left to the right or from top to bottom. Now, for some reason, we can't do this with our image widget. There's no option to adjust the positioning. So we're going to have to use some custom CSS. And it's very simple. So make sure that you click on your image widget and you go into Advanced and then go into Custom CSS. And then in here, we're just going to target selector because we want to make sure that we're targeting our image box here. And then after this, we're going to go ahead and target the image IMG. So we target this image here. And then we're going to type in our curly brackets. And we're going to type object position. So it's very simple. Just type in object dash position, just like this, object dash position with some colons. And then after the colons, we're going to go ahead and type in right and then bottom. Now you'll see that it will adjust a little bit, but I just wanted to go over this. So the first one here is going to target from our left to right. And the second one is our top to bottom. So basically, if I were to add 30 pixels, it would move 30 pixels to the right. So as you can tell, I added 30 pixels basically on the left side and it moved it to the right. But if I do a negative, it's going to move it 30 pixels back to the left, as you can tell. And it's very simple to understand. And then same thing with the second one here. If I do 50 pixels from the top, it's going to bring it down 50 pixels. If I do a negative, it's going to bring it up 50 pixels. So that's pretty much how you can make those adjustments in case you're having issues with the positioning of your image. Now, of course, you're not going to be doing 50 pixels, but maybe you can do, maybe what you can also do is right here, we're set to the width. You can maybe do 150, right? So now you can make it even bigger. And then we can go back over here. And then now we can maybe do something like, let's say negative 20, right? So you won't see much of a difference there. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll do maybe negative -10 as well, right? Alrighty, now that's how you can make those adjustments. But if you just wanted to do the simple ones, you can do let's see here. Maybe we want to have it on the left side, the image, and from top to bottom, we want to have it set to the top, right? So it moves the image to the top and we see the bottom portion, but we can actually set it to the bottom in case we wanted to see that dog there. That was something that we wanted to do. But that's pretty much it for this one. If you guys have any questions on this, just comment down below. Now here's another interesting one. So if you've ever used the icon box here, and I drag this right in, you'll notice that we can adjust the positioning of this icon box here. We can do to the left side, to the top, you know, and it works great on any device. We can switch it up. As you can tell, now it's set to mobile. And if we wanted it to the left on mobile, we can. And then on desktop, we can have it set to the top, right? And we can do the same thing to mobile. Maybe on mobile, we want to set it to the left side. And that's working great. If we go back to desktop, we will see that it's still set to the top, right? And we have those breakpoints, and that works perfectly. But if we were to use the image box and drag that in here, you'll notice that for some reason, we don't have that extra, those extra breakpoints for desktop, tablet, and mobile, right? So if I were to make an adjustment on here and leave this to the top, and then go into mobile, and then set this to the left side, you notice that we even have this glitch. Look, it doesn't even want to move. It's right now, I don't know if there's a glitch with Elementor, but look at that. It doesn't even work properly. So now it's set to the left side here, and it's also going to be set to the left or even the top for some reason. It's acting very strange if you guys notice here. So it's going to be set to the left side. Let me scroll down here to the left side there. Oops, not what I was looking for. Let's go into inspect. And then now if you notice, and I move it down this way, it's going to be set to the top when I wanted it to the left side. And we don't really have a breakpoint for this. And it's just very funky, and we can't do much with it as far as adjusting it on mobile and tablet without affecting the desktop version. So it's very funky, and there is a way around this just by using some CSS, and that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So let's say that we're going to set this to the top on desktop, right? Because I've had this before where we want to have this set to the top, but on mobile we want to have it set to the side. And of course we could just duplicate it and do the same thing and then just hide one of them on desktop and the other one on mobile, right? But I don't want to do that because that's an extra widget, and that's extra code, and that could potentially slow down my site, right? So what I want to do is just add some simple CSS to fix this issue. So go ahead and actually, you know what? Go into your live site and refresh it. Just make sure that it's pretty much looking like this. And we're gonna grab, let's see, I didn't update it. There we go. Okay, so right click it, go into inspect. And I'm gonna adjust this, make this a little bit bigger. And now I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna try to select or highlight this image box here. And as you can tell, we're currently highlighting this image box. We can see it's called the Elementor image box wrapper. And if we go down here, this is the one that we need to grab. This is a CSS class that we need to use. So it's Elementor widget image box, Elementor image box wrapper. So we're just gonna grab these two classes, copy them. Now I could type them out, but I would rather just copy them. And then make sure that you click on your image box, go to advanced, and then go to custom CSS and just paste them right in. Okay. And then, sorry, don't delete anything there. And then after the two CSS classes, go ahead and add your curly brackets. And then this is where we can start to adjust this. Now, of course, we're going to add our media queries here in a little bit, but I just want to show you what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to add a display, a flex, and as you can tell, that's going to shift it to the side, right? Now, I know that we don't want it to look like this on desktop, but we're going to go ahead and change it and add a custom media query like I mentioned. So now the next row over, we want to go ahead and shift our text here to the left, right? So what we need to do is just type in text align, and we're going to type in start, and that will shift it to the left side there. Now we just need to add a gap between this. So we're going to type in, make sure you end this with a semicolon. And then on the second line, type in gap, colon, and now we can add the amount of gap pixels or RAM that we want to add there. So we're going to do, let's do 20 pixels and see how much that is. So that works for me. 20 pixels is fine. And then we're going to end this with a semicolon. Now, it looks great, but we only want this to work on mobile. So we're going to add our custom breakpoints. So right above our CSS classes here, we're going to type in our media query. We're going to do the @ symbol, and then we're going to do media. And we're going to go ahead and type in our little brackets here. And then we're going to type in, now these aren't curly brackets. I just forget what they're called. I always forget. But just these are more rounded brackets. In between these, we're going to type in width. Or sorry, max width, dash, max, dash width. And we want to add the amount of pixel width that our custom breakpoint gets to. So we'll notice that it's usually set to 767 when mobile screens start. So we're going to type in 767 pixels. Anything below 767, is when our CSS style here is gonna activate, right? So, because you see, if I click on the responsive mode and I go into mobile, we'll notice that the width in pixels is set to 767. That's when we have our mobile screen adjustments and style starting. So anyway, after our media query here, we're gonna type in some curly brackets. And then we're going to open up our curly brackets. And then in between those curly brackets, let's go ahead and grab our class, our CSS style that we created. Let's copy this and let's move it right inside our curly brackets here. Okay. So now we'll notice that this is working perfectly on mobile. And of course, we can just go into style and make the adjustments on the text and image and change that out if we need to. Now, if we go back to tablet, you notice that it's going to go back to how it originally was. And then if we go back to desktop, it will do the same thing. And now let's go through this on the live side. I know sometimes it doesn't work on the live side. There's always those issues, right? But it should work on the live side. If things don't, for some reason, don't work on the live side, I'll show you what to do right now. So let's just shrink this. I think we're already at the size anyway. It should be down here. You notice that now it's working properly, except for this part here. It's not set to the side, right? So let's go ahead and see if we can fix that issue. Let's go into mobile. And then on an editor, it's working perfectly. Let's set this to important. I think that will always be our best bet. And another thing that we should do, guys, is I forgot to add selector here. And the reason why you want to go ahead and add selector right here is just so then this CSS only works with this image box and it doesn't affect the rest of the image boxes. That's very important. And make sure that we have no spaces here or else it's not going to work, okay? Okay. So just to make sure this works, the text align, let's make sure that we set this to important. So go ahead and type in an exclamation point here. And then after that, type in important. Just like so. It has to look just like this, right after your start here, have a space, and then just do exclamation important, okay? And then click update. Now let's refresh this, and hopefully this worked. Okay, so as you can see, now it's working perfectly and we don't have a problem. So if there's ever a time where one of the styles here isn't working, just add important. Let's say gap wasn't working and we didn't have that gap, we could just grab this and put it right. Let's add a space here and then add it right here. Let's say for some reason display flex wasn't working, do the same thing, add an important right here. Okay, so that's what you should do whenever your style there isn't working. But I'm gonna leave it as is for now, and this is fine here. So if you guys have any questions on this, just comment down below and I'll try to help you guys out. Okay. So have you ever wanted to create a simple hover box animation, but you just weren't able to do it? I mean, you were able to maybe add a hover background color, but for some reason we can't get these other items to change color as well. It would be great if this icon and the text and the button would change white, but it doesn't on hover. And you kind of gone in here and tried to do that, but you just weren't able to figure it out. Well, in this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to do this, and it is very, very simple, just by adding some custom CSS. So we're going to leave this hover background animation. That's fine. We just need to go ahead and change the color of the text, the icon up here, and the button whenever we hover over this. Just have a section with 3 columns and then have some content inside those columns. Just have it look similar to this, and then you can start from there. So first thing, like I just did, go into your column, go into your hover and add a background to it. Okay. And then from there, go into advanced and then go into custom CSS. So the first one that we need to target, and we're just going to go from top to bottom. So we need to target our icon here. So first things first, let's type in selector, and let's make sure that we can target our icon. So before we even add our hover state here, so let's type in selector, and then let's go ahead and type in. I believe we can target the icon by doing a dot for a class, and then type in Elementor dash icon, and then we can change the color to be white. Now this is not going to work because I've already tried this before, but what we need to do is our selector, after our dot Elementor icon, we actually need to add an eye so we can target the icon here. Okay, so now you can tell it's set to white, but we only want it to be set to white whenever we hover over this. So we need to add a hover state here. So right after our selector, we're going to do a colon and then hover. So basically what this is saying is, because our current selector right now is our column. So pretty much whenever we hover our selector, which is our column, our entire column here, we want this style to activate, right? So now whenever we hover over this, you'll notice that it's going to turn white, and that's perfect. And now we need to do the same thing for our text here. So under this style here, we're going to type in selector, and we're going to do a hover state, and we need to just add we need to give these a class actually. So let's go ahead and click on the heading, go into advanced, and give this a class. I already kind of did. Give this a class of box dash headline, just like this one. Now let's go back, and you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys that we also did the same thing for our text editor here. I gave it a box dash des for description, just so then we don't have to go back and edit. So just make sure that you give your text editor a CSS class box dash des, and your headline you give it a box dash headline. Okay, so now let's go back into our column, go into advanced, and let's begin. So we're going to target our first one, which is going to be our dot think we call it box dash headline. Did I call it that? I thought I just want to make sure. Yeah, box dash headline. Go back to a column. And then we need to make sure that we target, do we? Yeah, I think we do. So we're targeting, I think, the H2 right now. So type in H2. And the reason how I know that is if you go to content, you see that our HTML tag is H2. So that's very important that you're targeting the right HTML tag. If I had it at H1, then we would target the H1. So now let's go back into our column and let's type in our curly brackets. And then basically we're just going to do the same thing that we did above, color and then white. And then now whenever we hover over this, our heading here is going to turn white, and that's perfect. And then just to make it easier, we're going to copy this exact code here and we're going to paste it right under it. And we're just going to remove the H2. And instead of that, we're going to add a P tag, because I know for a fact that the text editor always has a P tag attached to it. And we just need to change this this class here. So and just to box dash DES. And there we have it. Okay. So now that's working good. Now the last part is just our button. And we're going to type in selector. And instead of adding a hover, we're going to go ahead and just make sure that everything works. And then we'll add the hover right after. So we're going to do a dot Elementor dash button, just like this. And we're going to target, you know what, I think it should work this way. So, and then type in your curly brackets there, and let's target the background color. So type in background dash color, and then a colon, and then let's type in white. Now this probably isn't going to work. Yep, because we need to go ahead and add important right after our white. So do an exclamation point and then do important, and it should work. There we go. Perfect. So now let's just add our hover state. So this only activates whenever we hover over our column here. Hover, and there we have it. Now we just need to change the text color here. So right after our semicolon there, we're going to type in color, something that we've done above, color, colon, white. And, oops, sorry, not white, black. Now, of course, you can just, if you wanted to, you can actually use the same color that we're using here, or the same color that you're going with your text color. Just go ahead and grab whatever your color is. So if I set this back to this, I'm just gonna grab this color. That's why I'm just doing this, and then set it to that. And then if I wanted to go back into here, I can just add this color here. So now it's set to my website color. There we go. And then basically, what you would do now is just, instead of going over and doing this all over again, just delete these that you already have here, and then just duplicate this one. And then now all you got to do is just change the content, and the style is going to stay exactly the same. See, you can change out the icon and it's still going to work, and everything's going to be great. And there you have it. So if you guys have any questions on this, just comment down below and I'll try to help you guys out. Now, the last one here is pretty simple. You guys have probably come across this issue before. It's pretty much how to change the color of an SVG on hover. Now, currently I uploaded an SVG, I guess, image here. And as you can tell, whenever I hover over this box, my SVG icon doesn't change color. And I'm sure you've seen that a lot, right? And basically, we're just going to go over how to change the color of our SVG on hover. And it's very simple. So right now, currently, we're targeting our .elementor dash icon, and then we have an eye here, which works for these other icons here, but doesn't work for this one. So what we need to do is just take a look at the markup. So let's go into our into the preview, and then go into our source code here. And if we scroll down and we actually select this SVG here, we'll notice that it's under our Elementor icon, which is great. And then it's an SVG, but then we have path here. So we need to actually target our path. Let's go back into our editor here, and let's instead of we're gonna do path. Now we could try SVG, right? So you would think, oh, maybe SVG would work. You can tell it doesn't. So this is why we're gonna try path. So we're gonna type in path, and make sure that you have .elementor icon dash icon. It's very important. Now, as you can see, it's not gonna work again. So what we need to do is, instead of color, since we're dealing with an SVG here, we're gonna do a fill, F-I-L-L, fill, colon, white. As you can tell, whenever we hover, this works. Now, if I were to do an SVG instead of path, I'm not sure if this works, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Yeah, so it doesn't. So that's why you need to make sure that you target the path here. So, and that's how you can get to change the color of an SVG on hover, or just in general, if you just wanted to change the color of it, for some reason you weren't able to do it within the editor here, you could just remove that hover state and then just do it right there. I wanted to just include that in this video and not make a video for this, because I'm just not sure that many people might be searching for this, so I just wanted to add it in here. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys do have any questions on any of the stuff that we went over, please comment down below and I will try to help you guys out. I know that sometimes I get a lot of comments and I can't get to everyone, but I'll definitely try to if I can. So as always, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like it for the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.